This next slide just gives you a look at what the 2008 reports looks like. It gives you a sense just of what it was like, and we've seen in 2009 and 2010 that the reports are similar. The quality of the reports, and I'm sure nearly everyone on this call would have seen the reports, is really high, and we really feel that's important to maintain. As I mentioned earlier, we do now have a report template that you could use if you wanted to participate that would get you a really high quality report without having to engage your own designer. If anyone wants to see that, you can look at the 2009 reports by Sunshine Coast or Central Okanagan, or the 2010 report by St. John. And all of the local reports are on CFC's Vital Signs website, which is www.vitalsignscanada.ca. This next slide just gives you a little look at some of the headlines that have appeared in communities across Canada as a result of the work done in releasing Vital Signs reports. But we've found that Vital Signs has really incredible communication and marketing benefits, but that does require a proactive effort on the part of foundations. And just to give you a sense of the flavor of the reports, or flavor of how that feels, I just want to read you a couple quotes. These are from emails and messages that were posted to the Vital Signs community, and by Vital Signs community I mean the community of those working on the project in the wake of an October release. This is from Sudbury. Reading your notes about the overwhelming media response to Vital Signs has made me smile as I think about the many months of hard work that has made this moment so worthwhile. Sudbury's media response has been a blast furnace. It's been both gratifying and exhausting. Congratulations to all of us who have lived through the challenges and now are enjoying some of the benefits. And here's a nice one from Medicine Hat. Congratulations, everyone. Fantastic response from coast to coast. The Hat are raising our glasses this evening. Vital Signs was the top story in our paper. So that gives you some of the flavor of what it looks like and what it feels like. Now we want to get a bit more specific and talk about what it takes to produce Vital Signs or to participate. So we're going to shift to the implications, both human and financial, of what that looks like. And this is where I was hoping to pass it off to Don. And Don,
I'm on, Sarah.
Just come on.
Good morning.
Wow, perfect timing.
I had a little bit of problems there getting on.
Yeah, have you been listening so you know where I am in the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have. Well, sort of off and on as we've been trying to iron out the bugs. So I'm on the page, onto what's to include if you want me to carry on here.
Yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Don Basham, Sunshine Coast Community Foundation, and we produced our first report in 2009 and an update last year, as I think Sarah did in the introductions. But I'm going to talk just a little bit right now about what is included in Vital Signs. And particularly, let's start off with community consultation and engagement, really important. Generally, the items listed on this page are preliminary components to Vital Signs, and you'll get a little bit more sophisticated depending on your needs. But one of the tenets of Vital Signs is that your community be consulted and engaged in. There are a number of good reasons for doing this. It's a way for you to better understand what really is going on in your community and who your sources are for your research data. It's also an opportunity for your foundation to listen and find out what your community thinks is important. This is a very powerful thing for your foundation to do, which then leads to strengthening the important relationships that impact the community's work and help internalize the learning from Vital Signs. Data collection and interpretation is the process you go through to pull together the research that exists on your community in the issue areas and to find out what's really significant to you. Once you've had the pool of data, or indicators, as we call them, then you can select which ones to include in your report. And this will vary, of course, depending on what you found out about your community. From there, most community foundations ask for feedback from their community on the data, and this is in the form of grading. And I think that later on in the year there will be a specific webinar just on grading. And I can tell you that talking to some of my other colleagues that have done vital signs in the past, there's sort of pros and cons in this, and some people have gone totally away from grading, and some really swear by it. And but that's a topic for another time. And then, of course, the publication of the vital signs itself. This is probably one of the most important things, and it's been done in a variety of different ways over the past few years, and seems to be evolving and changing as we go. But one of the things I want to tell you now, in case we forget later on, that in 2009, my community foundation and a couple of other smaller community foundations in BC did vital signs for the first time. And we were able to do this because we had some funding from Vancouver Foundation, which enabled us to produce a template, a 16-page template, and some of you might have seen it already. I'm sure if you've perused over the last 2 or 3 years, you've seen ours and others. But this template was paid for in a grant from the Vancouver Foundation and is now available through CFC, through SARA, to anyone who wishes to use that. And later on we'll talk about costs, and this is a real cost reduction if you choose to use this particular product. And also, of course, let's talk about promotion, the report's release. This is the critical area for you. Promotion of the report release is something that you will do through your media, and it'll also include you having contact community with other things in the community. Our particular release is done through a breakfast. Some people do it as a press conference only with media. Some people have a dinner. Some have wine and cheese. Whatever works for you. We did it for a breakfast because we're on the other side of the country, on the West Coast, and we wanted to sort of be in time with when it was released nationally. And the last piece that I'll talk about here is the evaluation and integration. I think it's only as good as the feedback that you get from this, and so I would urge you that you think about this and how you're going to evaluate this in the final analysis. And we'll be doing a webinar on this later on in the year. Can we go to the next slide, Sarah? Thank you. Let's take a little bit of a look at the costs, and this was really scary, I know, to us on Sunshine Coast Community Foundation when we first looked at this and some of the figures that were thrown out there. But we're going to look at particularly 2 different things here, and I might make a comment at the end or when we sum up later on about how we were able to do this as such a small community foundation. We'll look at 2 things, human and financial costs. First off, the human resource requirements can be lumped into these 3 broad areas: planning, coordination, and production. Most specifically, they break down into activities such as internal communications, stakeholder consultation and buy-in, liaison with CFC and other community foundations, environmental scanning in your community, indicator selection, research supervision, report writing and production management, launch planning and coordination, and your general communication with your media, and website writing and production management, and then finally evaluation. Quite a lot to do, and I will say right now that if you're a particularly small community foundation that's perhaps short on full-time staff, a major undertaking, and we found that that was the case in 2009. But I can tell you that the benefits from vital signs really outweighed all of the angst and the work that we put into it, and we don't hesitate for 1 minute to do it again.